Hi guys, am I audible? If I'm audible, type a response in the chat box so that I'll know that you guys are able to hear me. Good evening, everyone. If you're there in the session, please type something in the chat box so that I'll know that you guys are online. Great, I'm getting to see some responses. Perfect, I think we can start. Okay, so the agenda for today's session is we'll be discussing some level 1 questions from this chapter, percentages, profit and loss. What we'll be doing is we'll be seeing how to apply various concepts to those questions and solve them quickly. So the key here is going to be speed. How quickly you can solve these questions is what we're going to concentrate today. And there'll be a quiz that will go parallel to this live session. It's a live quiz. Of course, you're there in the live session, you can take that quiz. Otherwise, you just have to follow along with the video if you're watching it later. So there's a live quiz which is going to go parallelly to this. So click the link that you see in the description in the video, the first link. It will take you to a page where you will be able to see upcoming live quizzes, and you can click on the quiz which says percentages, profit and loss live quiz. So I'm going to activate the quiz now. So what we'll do is you'll attempt one question there, then I'll come back here and discuss it. So you will attempt, come back, attempt, come back. So we'll be doing a to and fro between the quiz page and the discussion page here. So that's going to be the format for today's discussion. Please type C if everybody is clear with the format for today's discussion. Great. So I'm going to start the quiz now. If you're just joining in, click the first link in the description to go to a place where you can find upcoming live quizzes. And you have to click the quiz named Percentages, Profit and Loss Live Quiz. Great. I'm going to start the quiz now. The first question is up in the quiz. This is the first question. Once the timer on the screen comes to 0, I'll start the discussion. The timer is a little different from what you see in the quiz for the first question because I started this timer on the video a little late. But probably from the second question, you will see there will be pretty much a sync between the timer that you see in the quiz and the timer that you see in the video. Yes, there is a new add-on to the screen which tells that it's the time to attempt, because people who might watch the video later, when the live session is over, they might see why is the video stuck, like why is this guy not speaking at all, what happened to him. So I want them to understand that we are actually attempting the question in the live session. So I've just put something like it's the time to attempt, so that people will know why we are all silent in the session. Okay, let's attempt. Let's go through this. The time is over. Let's see the status of the leaderboard at the end of this question. Awesome. A lot of you have got this right, and Triveni is on top. Let's see how we can solve this question. Again, I will initially solve like I'm sitting in an exam and I'm solving this question. So I will not explain the things to the greatest detail, but you can always stop me and ask me to explain things to a greater detail. So first I'll try to rush through it and try and solve like I'm sitting in an exam, because I want you to know how people generally solve this in an exam. Because if I keep explaining things in detail all the time, sometimes students tend to think that that's how it's solved in the exam. That's not how it's solved in the exam. So I will solve like I'm going to solve in the exam first. Then if you want, I'll explain in detail. Okay, so let's look at this question. The actual area of a rectangle ABCD is this much square centimeter, but while measuring it, a student decreases its length by 30% and increases the breadth by 20%. The percentage error in area calculated by the student is, okay, length is decreased, breadth is increased. I know that length and breadth are actually getting multiplied, so it doesn't matter which one is getting decreased, which one is getting increased. What I could do is I could directly apply this formula x plus y plus xy by 100 here. So there is a decrease of 30%, so that's minus 30, and there's an increase of 20%, so plus 20, and minus 30 into plus 20 will become minus 600 by 100. Minus 30 plus 20 is minus 10, minus 6, minus 16, which means there's going to be a decrease of 16%. Answer is 16%. Okay, so option 4 is the answer for this question. Please type 4 if you're clear with how we solved this question. If you want me to explain this in detail, please type D. I will explain this in detail. So what's actually happening here is we have, okay, someone is asking, why is 40.89 given? There is no use of 40.89 in this question. Okay, it's just given there to confuse you probably. There's no use of 40.89. Okay, I'm going to explain this is in detail. Let's see how the whole thing is happening here. Just give me a minute. Okay, so what's happening here is actual area of a rectangle. Okay, how do we calculate area of a rectangle? Length into breadth, right? So L into B is equal to area. That's how length and breadth are related to area. But while measuring it, a student decreases its length by 30%. So what he did, instead of taking it as L, this guy took 0.7 L. Now, if he decreases the length by 30%, it becomes 0.7 L. For once, let's assume that he did not do any change in the breadth. Let's say the breadth is as it is. So it becomes into B. In that case, my product also will become 0.7 times of LB, and LB is equal to area. So I can say if length alone is decreased by 30% and there is no change in breadth, the area will also decrease by 30%. Now, there is an increase in breadth by 20%. Now, it doesn't matter whether he is increasing breadth by 20% or he is further increasing the length by 20%. That is, he could have decreased the length by 30% first, and then he could have increased the same length, the decreased length, he could increase it by 20%. Because when you say something is increasing by 20%, what do? We do into 1.2. It's one of the ways to represent when something is increased by 20%. So in this case, instead of increasing breadth by 20%, let's say this guy increased the decreased length by 20%. So this 0.7L is increasing by 20%, let's assume. So then what will happen? I could write it as 1.2 times of 0.7L into B. I will get 0.84 times of LB, which is equal to area. Once area becomes 0.84, you can see from one area, it becomes 0.84 area. So for 0.16 is the decrease. So 16% is the decrease. So how did I put this formula for this? So what's actually happening here is like, first you are decreasing length by 30%, and the same length I can think is being increased by 20%, although he is increasing breadth, but I can consider it as the length only is being increased, because as long as you have the product of those two, it doesn't matter what you're increasing. So this is like successive increases and decreases. When the same value successively increased and decreased, what do? We can apply this formula. When there are two steps in successive increases, decreases, we can apply. This is something I have discussed in detail in the concept videos in the course. So x plus xy by 100, where x is the first increase or decrease, y is the second increase or decrease. If it is decrease, you put negative sign. That's it. So I can treat the whole thing as length is decreased by 30%, and then the same length is increased by 20%. So I can put minus 30 because first is a decrease, then I can put plus 20 because the second is an increase. And then this minus 600 is minus 30 into plus 20, it becomes minus 600. I just have to simplify this, I get minus 16. That minus represents that there is going to be an overall decrease here. So that's how we got the answer as 16% for this question. Please type C if everybody is clear with how we got this question. Perfect. What do you think? How much time should it take to solve this question? Assuming that you know the concept, how much time do you think it should take to solve the question? I would say less than 30 seconds, definitely. Definitely less than 30 seconds. All that you have to do is find out that length is being increased, breadth is being decreased, 30 and 20, right? So minus 30 plus 20 minus 600 by 100 over. Once you have solved a good number of questions of this kind. Okay, great. Let's move forward to the next question. I'm moving to the next question in the quiz. The next question is up in the quiz. It's up on your screen here as well. Great. Looks like the time is up. Let's see the status of the leaderboard. Triveni on top, followed by Ravi Ram and Sharad, Abhishek, Sudipta, and so on. Awesome. Let's see how we can solve this question. Again, speed is of critical importance here. When the question becomes easy, it's easy for everybody. Then it depends on how quickly you are able to solve compared to the others. In May, Mrs. Lee's earnings were 60% of Lee family's total income. In June, Mrs. Lee earned 20% more than what she earned in May. Okay, so let's put this down. Let's say Mrs. Lee's values here, family's values here, right? It is given in May, Mrs. Lee's earnings were 60% of Lee family's total income. So family's income, if I take as 100x, then I can take this as 60x. This is the situation in May. It is given in June, Mrs. Lee earned 20% more than what she earned in May. So 20% of 60 is what? 2 into 6 is 12. So 12x. So plus 12x. So when it comes to June, she would be earning 72x. Now that 12x, as Lee is part of Lee family, that 12x will also get added to the family's total, right? And what happened to the rest of the people? Rest of the family's income was the same in both the months. So there is no other change other than Mrs. Lee's increase in income. So the 12 will get added here as well. So I can put plus 12x here. So family's total income has become 112. Now what is the question? In June, Mrs. Lee's earnings were approximately what percent of Lee family's total income? So 72x is approximately what percentage of 112x? That's the question. So 72 by 112 into 100 is what we are supposed to do. Okay, let's cancel this. Let's cancel it in 8th table. If I cancel it in 8th table, this will become 9 times. This will become 14 times. Right. Okay, let me split it as 7 by 14 plus 2 by 14. I'm just splitting it in whatever way it comes to my mind at that point of time. Right. So 7 by 14, 2 by 14. 7 by 14 is 50%. 2 by 14 is 1/7. 1/7 is 14.28%. So 50 plus 14.28, that's going to be 64.28. We have got 64 and they are asking for approximately. So answer is 64% for this question. Please type 5 if everybody is clear with how we got the answer for this question. Perfect. Let's move to the, okay, in case you want me to explain any further, please don't hesitate. You can type R in the chat box. I'll understand that you guys want me to repeat. I will try to repeat in a slightly different way in case my first round of explanation is not clear. Great. So answer is 64% for this question. I'm moving to the next question in the quiz. The next question is up in the quiz. Up on your screen here as well. This is a 10 seconds question. Great. The time is up. Let's see the status of the leaderboard at the end of this question. Ravi Raman Sharath on top, followed by Triveni, Isha, Sashi, Shashwat, and so on. Okay. See, as I told you in the beginning, just for people who might be joining a little late, see, the questions are pretty simple. Okay. I would not say you might get questions of the same level in CAT. But what's important here is that you understand the basic concepts here. So it's more for revision of the basic concepts and to see how quickly you can apply the basic concepts on certain questions. So when you are able to apply basic concepts on some of these questions and solve them really quickly, your solving a tougher question will also improve because your concepts are crystal clear and the smaller parts of a bigger question you are able to process pretty fast. Okay, and you could get these kind of questions in exams like SNAP. If they're going to ask 60 questions in 60 minutes, you cannot expect questions to be really difficult. They are going to be easy comparatively. That's what I think. So you should be quick, because if it's easy for everybody, right? 60 questions, 60 minutes. An exam like that is definitely going to be about speed. Okay, so let's see how we can solve this question. The average weight of a group of soldiers is 70 kg. The weight of the parade commander is 25% more than the average weight of the group of soldiers. The average weight of the group of soldiers is less than the parade commander. Oh, that's a very simple question. Whenever you know that A is, in this case, 25% more. So if you know that A is 1/4 more than B, then B will be 1 by 1 plus 4th less than A. Okay, 1/4 more than, if A is 1/4 more than B, B will be 1 by 1 plus 4th less than A. That is 1/5 less. So answer is 20 for this question. So it hardly take you even 10 seconds to solve. I'm writing this, so it is even taking me that amount of time. But this is something that you should know by heart. The moment you see that a value A is this much more than something. Now, this is a concept that I've discussed in detail in product constancy as well, under product constancy line. Whenever you see that a value is A by D, that much fraction more than the other value, the second value, then the second value is going to be A by A plus D time less than this. So if this is 1/4, that's going to be 1/5. That's how we are solving this question. Please type 1 if everybody is clear with how we solve this question. This is a 10 seconds question actually. Perfect. I'm moving to the next question in the quiz. The next question is up in the quiz. Okay, the time is up. Let's see what is the status of the leaderboard at the end of this question. Good. Some of you have got this question right. Let's see how we can approach this question. Hanifa, a shopkeeper, charges sales tax of X% up to $3,000 and above it he charges Y%. David pays a total tax of this much when he purchases a goods worth 8,000 from Hanifa, and he pays a total tax of this much for goods worth 15,000, find the value of x minus y. Okay, so if I look at the two purchase values, the one is 8,000, the other one is 15,000. So what's happening in this question is till 3,000, this person is charging x%, and above it, this person is charging y%. So if I look at these two values, 8,000, 15,000, both are above 3,000. So for that value that is going to be above 3,000, he is going to charge y% tax, right? Sales tax. And the difference of these two, if you see, it is 7,000. Okay. So on 7,000, when he charges y%, the difference of the sales is 7,000. So on 7,000, when he charges y%, the difference in the tax, let's see here, it's 1450 here, it is 2850 here. The difference of the tax is 1400. So y% of the difference of sales gives me the difference in tax. Okay, so y%. So if you look at this, you would know that y will be 1/5. 1/5 of 70 only will be 14, right? Y will be 1/5. So the percentage wise, it is going to be 20. So y is 20%. So once you get y as 20%, that is this we have got as 20%. Now we can go to one of the sales value and get an equation for it. So if I'm going to go for 8,000, so there I will get that x% up to 3,000. So x% of 3,000 plus y% of the remaining value that you have, which is 5,000, and that is coming to 1450, right? And we know what is y. Y is 20%, right? So 20% of this, so x% of 3,000. So what is 20% of this? 1/5 of that, that's going to be 1,000. I can take it to the other side to become 450. This is going to become 1,000 as y is 20%, which is 1/5. 1/5 of 5,000 is 1,000. Take it on the other side to become 450. Okay, x% of 3,000 is 450. 10% of 3,000 is 300. If I add half of it, it will become 450. So this is actually 300 plus half of 300. So I can calculate in my mind, this is 10% plus half of 10%. So this is going to be 15%. So x is going to be 15. So y value is 20. They have given y%. So y value is 20. X value is 15. The question is asking for x minus y. That will be 15 minus 20. We'll get -5 as the answer for this question. Please type 1 if you're clear with y. Option 1 is the answer for this question. Please type R if you want me to repeat what we did in this question. We can do it in a slightly different way also. We could just form two simple linear equations and solve this question as well. Okay, we could form like we formed this equation, x% of 3,000 plus y% of 5,000 is equal to 1450. You can form another equation which could go like x% of, let me just put it here so that that is also clear. We could form another equation as x% of 3,000 plus y% of, in this value, the remaining 12,000 is equal to 2850. And then if you subtract these two equations, you will get what we got earlier, which is y% of 7,000 is equal to 1400. I'm just trying to skip that by looking at the difference in sales itself. Okay, so you can form these two equations separately first. X% of 3,000 plus y% of 12,000 is 2850. That is for the 15,000 sales value. And the next one, x% of 3,000 plus y% of 5,000 is 1450. That is for the 8,000 sales value. And then if you subtract these two, let's say I do equation 2 minus equation 1, then what will happen? This part will go off. I will get, equation 1 minus equation 2, because this is a bigger value. Equation 1 minus equation 2, if I do, x% of 3,000, x% of 3,000 will get cancelled. We'll be left with y% of 12,000 minus 5,000, which is y% of 7,000. On the right hand side, you will get 2850 minus 1450, which is 1400. So if you subtract these, you will land up at what we started. I'm just trying to skip that to save some time during the exam. If you can process that on your own during the exam, you can skip that and reach directly that part. Is that clear now? Someone wanted me to repeat. Okay, great. Let's move forward. I'm going to the next question in the quiz, guys. The next question is up in the quiz. I'm activating it on your screen in the video as well. Okay, the time is up. Let's see the status of the leaderboard after you guys have attempted this question. Abhishek on top, followed by Triveni and Isha. Let's see how we can solve this one. When 30% of a number is added to the square of the same number, the number is increased to 3030% of itself. What is the actual number? Okay, 30% of a number, let the number be n. So 30% of the number is added to the square of the same number. So that will be n squared. Then that results in 3030% of itself. So that should be equal to this. I've got 30% of n here. I've got 3030%. So let me split that 30 out and get rid of the 30 I have on the left side. So I could probably write the next step just to convey the idea to you guys as 3000% of n plus 30% of n, and now I can get rid of this 30% of n and 30% of n. Okay, so 3000 percentage means what? By 100, right? So I could just write this as 3000 by 100, which means I have only 30n here. So n squared is equal to 30n. Now this is a critical part because many of us tend to do this mistake of just cancelling n on both sides and equating n to 30. But you also have to keep in mind that in this case, n can also be equal to 0. Okay, so from this, I can say n is either equal to 0 or 30. To get 30, you can cancel one n on the left side. I mean, the square you can cancel, and you can cancel this n. You will get n is equal to 30. Keep in mind that 0 is also a possibility. So 0 or 30, there are two possibilities here. If you look at the options, we have got 30 as well as 0. So the best answer you have got is more than one of the options are possible. That should be the answer for this question. Please type 5 if you're clear with how we solved this question. I could see that some of you have got this question wrong. The only reason I could think why you are getting this question wrong is because you did not consider 0. Did that happen to any of you? That you missed considering 0 before you answer the question? Yes, see, that can happen under time pressure. right? It can happen under time pressure. Okay, someone wants me to explain how 0 is also a possibility. See, 0 is a possibility because if n happens to be 0, then left hand side will be 0, right hand side will also be equal to 0. Right? That's how we identify that 0 is also a possibility. Now that's something that you got to keep in mind whenever you get this kind of an equation. Okay, n squared is equal to 30, and that is you have the variable getting multiplied on both sides. Then 0 is a possibility to make sure LHS is equal to RHS. Is that clear? Great. Let's move forward to the next question. I'm moving to the next question in the quiz. The next question is up in the quiz. It's up on your screen here as well. Okay, the time is up. Let's see the status of the leaderboard at the end of your attempts of this question. Still Abhishek on top, followed by Triveni, Sashwat, Gaurav, and Sashi. Okay, let's see how we can approach this one. Again, from an exam point of view, let's try to solve it first. Then I'll explain to you in detail in case you want me to explain in detail. Average salary of Tom in Vizag Steel Plant in 2020 is 30% less than what it was in Jindal Steel Plant in 2019. The salary of Tom in Jindal Steel Plant is this much per month in 2019. Tom's salary in Vizag Steel Plant is expected to increase by 40% in 2021 from the decreased value, obviously. Then what would be the average monthly salary of Tom in Vizag Steel Plant 2021? Okay, so compared to 2019, first it decreased by 30% and now it's going to increase again by 40%. So I can directly say plus 30 minus 40 plus 30 into minus 40 by 100. This is the overall increase that's going to come in a salary. So that's going to be, no, it was decreased and then increased. So it's going to be minus 30 plus 40. The signs are opposite. Minus 30 plus 40. So this is minus, this is plus. Okay. Initially it was 30% less and then it is increased by 40%. So minus 30 plus 40, minus 30 into plus 40 by 100. So what will I get here? It will become plus 10 minus 12, so minus 2. So net will be a 2% decrease in the salary. It was initially 60,000 per month in 2019. So in 2021, it should be a net 2% decrease from 2019 value. So from 60,000, I should decrease 2% of 60,000. And what is 1% of 60,000? 6,000. So 2% will be 12,000. 600. So I can go for this minus, basically 10% is 6,000. I need 2%, so 1% is 600. I'm just going to remove two 600s from that. So 6,000 minus 1,200. Okay, so I should get an answer ending in 800. There's only one option that way. I can go for that option. Answer is option 4 for this question. Type 4 if you're clear with how we solved this question. Okay, so if you have to see in detail what actually happened here, they initially gave what was the situation in 2019. Okay, 2019 salary was 60,000, and 2019 to 2020, if you see, it is given the salary of this guy in 2020 is 30% less than what it was in 2019. So first there is a 30% decrease. Okay, and it is expected to increase from here in 2021. It's expected to increase by 40%. So this value is further going to increase by 40%. So if I have to directly calculate from here to here, what will happen? This is more like successive increases and decreases. Initially, there is a 30% decrease. Then there is a 40% increase. I can apply the formula x plus y plus xy by 100. So that's what I'm directly doing here. Whenever there is a decrease, you put minus. Whenever there is an increase, you put plus. Okay, I hope that's clear for everybody. Let's move to the next question in the quiz. The next question is up in the quiz. It's up on the screen here as well. The time is up. Let's check the status of the leaderboard. Great. Abhishek on top, followed by Gaurav, Sashi, and Triveni. Okay, how much time do you think it will take to solve this question? Let's give a guess. What could be the least amount of time in which you can solve this question? I mean, as per you, what do you think? 45 seconds. Just give some value. That's okay. 40 seconds, 40 maybe, 40, 45, 40 seconds. It looks like there's a bit of calculation going on here, right? But if you apply some presence of mind in this question, it can be solved in 10 seconds. You would not believe that it can be solved in 10 seconds because there's a lot of numbers going around here, right? How can this be solved in 10 seconds? Let's see how we can solve it in 10 seconds. And then we will look at the longer way of solving this question as well. The cost of Kaju is 500% greater than the cost of Badam. If there is an increase in the cost of Kaju by 25% and that of Badam by 20%, then the total increase in the cost of 5 Kajus and 10 Badam. See, all that I actually bother about is one is increasing by 25%, the other is increasing by 20%. Overall value will have to increase by a value between 20 to 25% only. Now tell me, do we have an answer already? Which option will be the answer? Or we still have to further calculate? We already have the answer, right? 23.75. There's only one value here in the options, which is between 20 and 25, right? So if something is increasing by 20%, the other is increasing by 20%. Depending upon the weightage of these two, the value will change. But whatever be the case, it has to be between 20 and 25. And luckily, we have only one option here that is there between 20 and 25. If the weightage of these two are equal, then it will be exact midpoint of 20 and 25. But if weightage is not equal also, it has to be somewhere between 20 and 25 only. So let's see how we can solve this question. If we were to have more than one option, which is between 20 and 25, how we would have gone about solving this question. The cost of Kaju is 500% greater than cost of Badam. So let me take Kaju and Badam. Cost wise, it is given cost of Kaju is 500% greater than cost of Badam. So if Badam's cost, if I take it as, let's say C, this should be 500% greater, means 5 times greater than C. So it will be 6C. Okay. There's an increase in the cost of Kaju by 25%. So I'll have to increase this by 25%. 25% means what? 1/4, right? 1/4 of this. So cost of Kaju increases by 25% and cost of Badam by 20%. So I have to increase this by 1/4, increase this by 20%. So let's do that. So 1/4 will be 1.5C. So the new cost of this is going to become 7.5C. And this is going to increase by 20%. So this is going to increase by 0.2C. So new value of this is going to be 1.2C. So 7.5C, the new cost of, let me just put it here, the new cost of Kaju is going to be 7.5C. New cost of Badam is going to be 1.2C. Now they are asking for total increase in the cost of 5 Kajus and 10 Badams. So we can find out what was the price earlier and what will be the price now. So price earlier, 5 Kajus would have costed 30C. Now I'm looking for total price. So 5 Kajus would have costed 5 into 6, 30C. 10 Badams would have costed 10C. So total price earlier, when there was no price increase in Kaju and Badam, would have been 40C. The next time after the increase, if I'm going for 5 Kajus, 5 into 7.5, 5 into 7 is 35, 5 into 0.5 is 2.5, plus 10 Badams, that's going to be 12C. How much is that coming to? 49.5C. Right. Now we are supposed to find out total increase in terms of percentage because options are in terms of percentage. It was 40, it has become 49.5. So 9.5 by 40 into 100, if you do, you should get your answer. So that is one of the ways to solve this question. Okay. Now, if you want to solve the question a slightly different way, let's say you don't want to do these many calculations. However, that 20-25 thing is not clicking. Or let's say there are more options which are between 20 and 25. We can still use allegations here, okay, or mixtures. It's mixtures concept here. So what we can do is look at how many Kajus this person is buying. This person is buying 5 Kajus and Kaju's price was 6. So you multiply those two. Okay, if I multiply those two, I will get 5 into 6, 30C. That is the cost of Kajus. Whatever is the number of Kajus he's buying, total cost of all those Kajus is 30C. And Badam is 10. 10 he is buying, so it's going to be 10C. Right. And one of that is the first one. Kaju is increasing by 25%. This is increasing by 25%. This one is increasing by 20%. but the weightage of their prices is the ratio 3:1, right? So if I apply mixtures here, I can solve it as 25 into 3 plus 20 into 1 by 3 plus 1. Now that's something you can do. Okay, 25 into 3, 75 plus 20, 95, 95 by 4. 95 by 4, 92 by 4 will be 23. Another 3 by 4, so 23 plus 0.75, 23.75. So this is how you can solve using the concept of mixtures. I'm using mixtures here. If you haven't gone through the concept of mixtures, by the time you go through, you will be absolutely clear. And this is pure percentages concept. Okay, please type 3 if you're clear with all the 3 ways in which we solved. First is looking at the options and identifying there's only one option between 20 and 25. Second is taking all the values properly, finding out 40C, finding out 49.5C, and then solving. The third is applying mixtures for this question. If you want me to repeat any of this, first being that checking the options, second being calculating 40C, 49.5C, third being mixtures. Type 1, 2, or 3 if you want me to explain any of these methods once again. If you haven't gone through mixtures yet in the course, please don't worry. Once you go through the mixtures video, this will become super clear to you. Okay, third one I'm going to repeat once, please listen. So what I'm doing is, I know that one of them is going to increase by 25%, the other one by 20%. But what is the weightage? Because when you're increasing something by 25%, the other one by 20%, the net value finally is going to remain between 20 and 25. But whether it's going to remain close towards 25 or closer towards 20, it depends on the weightage of these two. So what is the weightage here? Weightage is what is the initial cost of the two varieties. So initial cost of the two varieties, cost is 6C, but then this person is buying 5 of that. So I'll have to take 5 into 6, 30 as the initial cost of the variety Kaju for whatever quantity I'm buying. Okay. Similarly, for Badam, cost is C, but this person is buying 10. So the total cost this guy will have to spend on buying Badam will be 10 into C, 10C. So 30C will be the total spending on Kaju. 10C will be the total spending on Badam. So these two will give me the weightage, 30 and 10. So I could just take the ratios as far as weightages are concerned. So 3:1 is the ratio. So I have got 3:1 ratio here. I'm going for applying mixtures concept here. So when you're mixing two mixtures in the ratio 3:1, where one has a quality 25%, the other one has a quality 20%, what will be the overall quality? So how do we do that? Quality into ratio plus the next quality into ratio by ratio plus ratio. So that's what I'm doing here. So ratio in this case is coming to 3:1, right? So 3 into 25 plus 20 into 1 by 3 plus 1. That gives me the answer. Is that clear? Okay, someone wants me to repeat the first one. Let me quickly repeat the first one. The first one is the simplest of all here. So what we identified is in the first one, there is one variety. We are buying some amount of that variety, but for that variety, the cost is going to increase by 25%. Now, it doesn't matter how many of that variety you're buying. If for 1 unit of that variety cost is increasing by 25%, 100 units of that you buy also, the overall cost is going to increase by 25% only. Okay, so for one, the cost is increasing by 25%. For the other, the cost is increasing by 20%. So there itself, I know that the overall cost increase, irrespective of how many of each of those quantities you are going to buy, overall will be between 25 and 20 only. Okay, so I'm quickly looking at the options to see if I can get lucky, and luckily there is only one option which is between 20 and 25, so we go and mark it immediately. Is that clear? Someone wanted me to repeat the first method. Great, perfect. Now before we move to the next question, guys, if you're liking the video, the way the video is going, please don't forget to like the video. It helps us to reach a lot of people. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please click the subscribe icon and click the bell icon as well, so that you'll get notifications on the sessions that we do and the videos that we upload. So please don't forget to like the video if you're liking the way the session is going. Great. Now I'm going to move to the next question, question number 8 in our quiz. The question is up in the quiz. Okay, the time is up. Let's see how we can solve this one. Okay, before that, let's see the status of the leaderboard. Okay, there is some change in the leaderboard. Let's see how we can solve this. A salesman gets commission on total sales at 10%. If the sales exceeds 15,000, he gets an additional commission as a bonus of 5% on the excess of sale over 15,000. If he gets total commission of 3,000, then the bonus he received is in dollars. Okay, so he gets 10% on total sales, whatever be the total sales. And when the sales exceeds 15,000, on whatever is the amount that exceeds 15,000, he will get additional 5% as bonus. So if he gets total commission as 3,000, okay, total commission as 3,000. See, if the sales is 15,000, he will get only 10%. So he would have got only 1,500 as commission, as if it is equal to 15,000. If total sales is 15,000, he will get only 1,500 as commission. The fact that he got more than 1,500 tells the total sales should have crossed 15,000. Okay, so let's see. Let's assume the total sales to be S. Then he will get 10% of S, plus he will also get 5% of how much ever is the excess of sale over 15,000. So S minus 15,000 will tell us how much is the sale over 15,000. For instance, if the sale is 17,000, then when I put 17,000 minus 15,000, I'll get the 2,000 excess, right? So 5% on excess of sale over 15,000. And overall, this guy got how much? 3,000. Okay, now let's try and simplify this. So 10% of S plus, I'll get 5% of S here. So that will become 15% of S minus 5% of 15,000. 10% of 15,000 is what? 1,500. Half of that is 750. So 750 is equal to 3,000. What are they asking for? They're asking for, go to the final question. Bonus he received. Okay, so let's find out S first. So S here, 15% of S is 3,000 plus 750. I can probably cancel it here itself. I can cancel 15 with this. That's going to be 200. It's going to be 50. So 1% of S is 250. So 100% of S is going to be 250 followed by 2 zeros. That's the value of S. So once you've got the value of S, now we can go ahead and find out what will be the value of the bonus, because that's the question finally, right? The bonus he received, and the bonus he receives is what? That 5% on the excess sale over 15,000. So this part, this is the bonus he receives. We got that 100% of S is 25,000. So 25,000 minus 15,000 will be equal to 10,000. I should find out what is 5% of 10,000. 10% of 10,000 is 1,000. Half of that is going to be 500. So 500 is the answer for this question. Please type 2 if everybody is clear with how we got 500 as answer for this question. Perfect. Let's move to the next question. The next question is up in the quiz. It's up on your screen here as well. The time is up. Let's see how we can solve this one. Let's first see the status of the leaderboard. Abhishek on top again, followed by Sashwat, Chaitra, Gaurav, Triveni, Lohita, Sashi, Deepika, Isha, and Sudipta. Well done. Let's see how we can approach this question. So first, let me just solve this question like I would solve it in an exam. Then I'll explain you what's happening here. The number n is mistakenly divided by 6 instead of being multiplied by 1.5. What is the approximate error percentage? Okay, instead of multiplying by 1.5. So had you multiplied by 1.5, it will become 1.5n. But this person actually divided by 6. So it is n by 6. I can take the difference of these two. That will give me the error by original value. He was supposed to multiply by 1.5. 1.5n. I can multiply the numerator and denominator by 6. If you multiply numerator by 6, it will become 9n minus n. Denominator will become 9n. That will be 8n by 9n or 8 by 9. 1 by 9 is 11.11. 8 by 9 is 88.88. We have got 88.88. That's the answer for this question. So that's how we solve this question. Now what's actually happening here? Okay, first of all, let's try to understand how do we get error percentage in a result? Because they're asking for percentage error. So how do we calculate percentage error? Percentage error is the error value, how much ever is your error, the right value minus wrong value. You can take the modulus if the wrong value is bigger, smaller and all that. Just take modulus of right value into wrong value divided by the correct value into 100. That should give us the error percentage. Error, absolute value of error by correct value into 100. So how do I get the error here? He's supposed to multiply by 1.5 but divided by 6. So I'm taking the difference of those two, 1.51 minus n by 6 by 1.51 because that is what this person is supposed to do, right? So that's the correct value. So 1.51 minus n by 6 by 1.51, which is basically error by correct value into 100. If I do that, I'll get this answer. Now these things, guys, you should be able to get their values instantly. 1 by 9, what is the percentage? 1 by 11, 1 by 13, 1 by 15, at least till 1 by 20, you should know the percentage equivalents by heart so that you don't have to multiply it by 100 and divide and all that. Okay. Please type 5 if everybody is clear with why we got option 5 as the answer for this question. Great. Let's move to the next question, and that is also the last question in the quiz. We have 10 questions in the quiz today. The last question in the quiz is up. Right, the time is up. Let's see the final standing of the leaderboard for today's session. Gaurav on top, congrats. Followed by Abhishek, Chaitra, Sashwat, Sashi, Triveni, Lohita, Deepika, Isha, and Sudipta. Congrats to all of you guys who are able to figure on the leaderboard. Now, before I start discussing this, if you haven't liked the video yet and if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do so. It helps us to reach more students. And that's the only way we can reach more students if you guys are going to like the video. Okay, so let's see how we can approach this question. The Pakistani cricket team played 45 one-day international matches in a particular season of a year and won 20% of their matches. The new coach was then brought in who wanted a success rate of 66.66% of the matches played by the end of the year. What is the minimum number of additional matches that should be played? Okay, so let me just put the data in the form of a table so that you can easily understand what's happening here. So right now, played one, and I'll just put it as not one because I don't know whether it's lost or tied and all that. So played, it is given Pakistani cricket team played 45. So 45 one-day internationals were played. 20% of them, 20% is 1/5. So 1/5 of this is 9. So 36 were not won. Anything could have happened. Lost, tied, anything, no result, anything. A new coach was then brought in who wanted a success rate of 66.66%. Means 2/3 matches he wanted to win of the matches played by the end of the year. What is the minimum number of additional matches that should be played? Okay, right now we know that the success rate is pretty low. It's only 20%. We have to raise it to 66.66%, which means more matches have to be played. Otherwise, we cannot raise it. And they also want minimum number of additional matches to be played. So we got to assume that every match that they're going to play after this, they are going to win. They're not going to not win any of the matches that are going to come after this. They have to win every single match that they are going to play after this. Only then you can minimize the number of matches to be played, at the same time increase the win rate. So I'm going to assume that the extra matches that they are going to play, okay, this is already played. First row is already played. Among the extra matches that among the extra matches that they're going to play, not one or not to be one is going to be 0. I want to assume that every match that they're going to play, they're going to win. Okay. And finally, what are we targeting? We are targeting a success rate of 66.66%, which means I am expecting that this has to be 2/3 of the total number of matches. So not one should be 1/3 of the total number of matches, and not one, I know it's 36 plus 0, it is going to be 36. So if 1/3 of matches is going to be 36, then I can say total number of matches is going to be 36 into 3, 108. 1/3 is 36, so total is going to be 3 into 36, 108. Already 45 matches have been played. Total should become 108, total number of matches played. So I can just subtract this 108 minus 45. 108 minus 45, this will become 63. So minimum 63 matches have been played from now on to make sure that they're able to reach that 66.66% win rate. Please type 5 or no, please type 63 because you already typed 5. Please type 63 if everybody is clear with how we got 63 as the answer for this question. Type R if you want me to repeat. Okay, I'm quickly going to repeat. Please listen. So what we did here, played is 45, right? 1 is 20%, which is 1/5 of 45, that is 9, which means not 1 is remaining, 36. It is given that success rate has to increase. Now that's only possible by playing more matches, assuming that they tend to win more matches after this. But we have to play minimum number of additional matches. So how do I make sure additional matches is minimum? I can make sure additional matches is minimum by making sure that every match that they're going to play from now on is going to end up as a win. I cannot afford to have a single match from now on where they don't win. Okay, that's how I can make sure the number of matches required is minimum. At the same time, I can increase the win rate to 66.66% if they're going to win every damn match that's going to come after this. So the extra matches that they're going to play after that 45, okay, of that, the matches that they will not win is going to be 0. Now, why is that going to be 0? This will ensure minimum number of matches are played. That 0 will ensure that minimum number of matches are played, because you cannot afford to not win a match. Then to bring the win percentage to 66.66, you'll have to play more matches if you end up not winning a match. So I'm assuming that after this, after those 45 matches, every match that they're going to play, not winning situation is going to be 0. Every match they're going to win. Okay, in that case, as the win percentage at the end of the year has to be 66.66, which is 2/3, the not winning percentage has to be remaining 1/3. The only two possibilities, right? Either you win or you don't win. So if this is 2/3, not winning has to be 1/3. And not winning is going to be 36 plus 0, 36 only at the end of the year also. Okay, so if 1/3 of total number of matches is 36, this is 1/3 of total matches. So if 1/3 of total number of matches is 36, then total number of matches is 3 times of 1/3, which is 3 times of 36, 108. So that is the total number of matches that these guys have to play till the end of the year. But they've already played 45. So the remaining 63, they have to play. So minimum number of matches they'll have to play from now on is 63. Is that clear? Two of you guys wanted me to repeat this. Are you guys clear now? Chaitra and Pranay. Perfect. So that brings us to the end of the session, guys. Congrats to all of you who figured on the leaderboard and anyone who did prepare for this particular chapter and who came. There are situations where you might have done some calculation mistakes because of which your rank went down in the quiz. So those are things you got to keep in mind, right? For instance, there was a question where 30 or 0 were options. You might not have considered 0. So those are costly mistakes, especially when the questions are easy. You cannot afford to do costly mistakes. Okay, so I'll catch up with you guys in the next session on time and work, I believe. Tomorrow, I'll catch up with you guys in that session. See you guys. Good night.